Ah, the Kalahari Desert, a place so dry even the sand is looking for water. And right here, beneath this scorching wasteland, something truly unfortunate is happening. Meerkat is being born. Yep, another helpless, squirming bundle of fur, about to enter a world where survival is less of an instinct and more of a full-time job. Meet the newest member of the Meerkat clan, small, blind, and completely useless. Seriously, this little guy can't even open his eyes yet, but congratulations, he's already a walking snack for about half the animals in the desert. Welcome to the food chain, kid. You're not at the top. You might think being born underground offers some protection. Well, think again. This cozy little burrow? More like a ticking time bomb. With snakes, scorpions, and who knows what's slithering around, it's less of a home and more of a temporary hiding spot. Oh, and let's not forget the weather. On one hand, it's hotter than an overcooked burrito, and on the other, freezing enough at night to turn a meerkat pup into a popsicle. So, yeah, enjoy that cozy sand nap while it lasts. And what about food? Well, here's the real kicker: there isn't any. At least not for this newborn. He's entirely dependent on his exhausted mother, who, let's be honest, has better things to do like not getting eaten. And when food does arrive, it's usually a beetle. A single, dry, crunchy beetle. Yum. Then there's the small issue of siblings. That's right, our little meerkat here isn't an only child. No, he's one of several. And in this family, it's survival of the fittest, or at least, survival of the sneakiest. Let's just say sharing isn't exactly part of the meerkat code. So to sum it, upborn blind, defenseless, hungry, and surrounded by potential murderers. If meerkats had a birth certificate, it would probably just say, good luck. Ah, but hold on, our little meerkat isn't dead yet. Against all odds, it's growing. Slowly. Awkwardly. Now, this little furball is starting to explore. But here's the catch: he's just as clumsy as a toddler on roller skates. He'll take 2 steps, trip over his own feet, and then faceplant straight into the sand. It's like a poorly choreographed dance routine, except instead of a standing ovation, he's probably getting a side eye from a passing vulture. And let's talk about learning to dig. Oh, sure, every meerkat has to learn how to dig their own burrow. But guess what? Our little guy is a natural at it. If by natural, you mean he spends more time getting stuck in the tunnel than actually creating one, he's basically a living, breathing sandpile that has somehow convinced itself that it's capable of building a luxury condo underground. Spoiler, it's not. Of course, survival skills come in handy. Except, not for our meerkat. Remember that whole survival of the fittest thing? Yeah, that applies when you can actually, survive. Our young hero's big strategy? Panic and hope for the best. Whether it's a hawk swooping down to snag him or a snake slithering by, his instinct is to stand perfectly still and pretend to be a rock. Because if there's one thing predators love, it's a delicious, rock-flavored snack. But hold your applause. It's not all doom and gloom for this little guy. He's learning. By learning, I mean he's getting better at pretending. He's a rock and hiding in plain sight. But even as he tries his best to blend into the desert, he's not fooling anyone. The rest of the meerkat gang? Oh, they're just enjoying the show. Every time they see him fail, they probably send him an imaginary survival tip in the form of a sarcastic glance. At least he's got the being a moving target thing down pat. And then there's the feeding situation. Don't get me started on how he has to scrounge for every tiny scrap. Look, it's not that he doesn't appreciate a good beetle snack, but after the third one, even the strongest stomachs start to question life choices. But hey, no worries, she'll soon be able to feast on more delicacies like ants, spiders, or the occasional unfortunate cactus flower. Bon appétit, kiddo. But wait, there's more? Because no one ever really gets a break in the wild. Our meerkat, now a teenager, is learning what it means to be one of the pack. And let me tell you, it's about as fun as a family road trip with no AC. Everyone's too busy making sure they don't become dinner to care about anyone else. Sure, they'll call him over for a fun game of who can run away from the snake the fastest, but the real game is how quickly you can forget your weakling sibling. So, here's to our little meerkat, growing up to face endless challenges, constantly dodging predators, tripping over its own limbs and eating like it's the Great Depression. It's a tough life, but hey, he's not dead yet. So, congrats, little guy. Ah, yes, adulthood. Our little meerkat has made it. He's no longer the tiny blind ball of fur, but a grown-up with responsibilities. He can dig, he can dodge predators, and he's even figured out that standing perfectly still while a hawk is circling overhead might just be the best strategy. But don't get too excited while he's improved. Life in the Kalahari is still a non-stop disaster. Now that he's an adult, you might think things are easier, right? Wrong. Instead of avoiding predators, he's now the predator. Oh, joy. Welcome to the world of adulthood, where every other meerkat is eyeing your dinner like it's a Black Friday sale. And the only thing you're hunting is more of those delicious dry beetles. Yep, they're still eating beetles. If anything, it's gotten worse. He's learned how to hunt, but the only thing he's really good at catching is more work. And let's not forget about the constant game of survival that's somehow never ending. It's a fun little daily routine where he dodges hawks, outruns snakes, and tries to find food that isn't a 3-day-old beetle carcass. Sure, he's more skilled at all this, but that just means he's better at not dying. It's like being a champion at running away from problems only to realize that your success is just a never-ending chase. Oh, and did I mention mating season? Yes. Now that he's an adult, he has to deal with the added joy of impressing the opposite sex, which, by the way, involves digging. So, if you're wondering how to win the heart of a female meerkat, forget flowers and fancy dinners. Just show off your digging prowess. Because nothing says romance like, hey, look how deep I can go into the sand. Smooth. But even if he manages to snag a date, let's be real, it's probably more about the quality of his hole than his personality. There's still the lovely matter of hierarchy. Despite all his survival skills, he's still the low man on the totem pole. In meerkat society, it's less about who you are, and more about who's willing to throw you under the bus for the last beetle. So yeah, welcome to the world where being an adult means you're still everyone's second choice. And when you think it's all settled, he remembers so. Right. His job is to keep everyone alive. So now he has to not only survive himself, but make sure the rest of the meerkat clan doesn't end up as snake food. It's a full-time job that requires constant vigilance, and maybe, just maybe, a little existential dread. So, to wrap it up, poor meerkat may have made it to adulthood, but don't let that fool you into thinking life's gotten easier. It's a daily grind of trying not to be eaten, trying not to starve, and trying not to make any one bad decision that will get him kicked out of the group. Because in the Kalahari, the only thing constant is change and your imminent doom. And just like that, the circle of life continues. Welcome to adulthood, little guy. Here's hoping it doesn't kill you.